I seriously underestimated how many times it would take me to get an oak sapling, so here's how many times it took. 14 tries, everyone. It took me 14 tries just to get an oak sapling. I already don't like where this survival challenge is heading, but welcome to surviving 100 hours in a flat world on Bedrock. Like any other start to a new Minecraft world, my first hour consisted of me gathering materials, planting my tree farm, and digging 17 stacks of dirt for this beautiful mob farm. Hour 2, I continued working on the mob farm. I tried going to bed, but then got swarmed by a bunch of monsters, so I dug myself a hole without my bed. Noticed my tree farm blew up, said hello to the wandering trader and some bees. Got surprised by a skeleton while working on the mob farm. Then a creeper blew up the mob farm, and I ended the hour 2 by fixing all my hard work while I cried in the corner. The next hour proceeded to be the worst hour I had when this happened. So because of this, I will be having a death toll on the top left corner of my screen. From that point moving on, I spent the rest of my time fixing the mob farm from another creeper hole, blowing it up. And then this happened. I said hello to a nice friendly zombie, and then I got a nice greeting from a skeleton, who then shot me down, and I managed to survive with 2 hearts. But that small victory against the skeleton didn't last long, as I died not once, but twice, by slimes. And then I met a friendly pig. I sadly don't have a name tag, I would just name him Henry. Once again, as soon as I captured my prey, I immediately died afterward, making the death toll now 4. From that point on, I tried making the mob farm safer, but I quickly realized I should have created it differently, when I continued to die over and over. The only good outcome of hour 3 is when I managed to capture this zombie villager and keep him stowed away in a safe place so I can manage to capture a witch, which is going to be next to impossible for someone like me. And so for the rest of hour 4, I destroyed the entire mob farm to the ground, and I will be restarting it with hour 5. The next 3 hours went by smoothly as I created the mob farm biome. Shout out to Ice Coffee who had a simplified mob farm design I used, and now here's the new mob farm design. And based off my previous wall design, I'm going to build a protective bubble around it, so I can have an easier time using the mob farm at night. With the old mob farm officially done, I thought it was time to say hello to Bob the zombie villager. Hello, Bob. Then after that, I spent the rest of the hour 8 destroying the old mob farm and then spending the rest of my time inside the new mob farm where I collected an iron shovel and a golden helmet. Jumping into hour 9, I decided to get a head start on the makeshift piglin farm. At first I didn't want to dig another hole again, but then I quickly remembered I dug out these 4 spots in the beginning of the video. I quickly dug out the patterns, found a pig when fixing the creeper hole, and also started on the sheep farm as well. Officially making it to hour 10, I realized I've only hit 16 deaths. But then I looked an enderman in the eyes and sadly did not live to tell the tale, marking my 17th death. Halfway through hour 11, a creeper blew up my mob farm while I fought off 2 skeletons. My efforts were quickly rewarded with 1 measly iron. I've been hoping for about 3 pieces of copper, but at this point, it feels pointless. And since my mob farm is so slow, I've decided to fight on the roof, but that idea quickly got squashed when a witch splashed into the potion, laughing. And obviously, I didn't care about my near death experience of the witch, because I was back on that roof shooting down skeletons. Since the mob farm took so long to drop mobs, I decided to chop down all my trees, but the creeper quickly said nope, you can't chop down all trees. And then a baby rotting chicken disagreed with the idea as well. Now clinging on to half a heart, I sat in the corner terrified with baby zombie waiting outside for me. I ended hour 12 with another poisonous splash person that killed me when I fell off the ladder. I desperately tried attracting the attention of a witch, but it disappeared after sending a creeper and a skeleton after me. After that, the wandering trader came to me offering goods, but ran away crying and poor. And then I was on a speed run away from a swarm of zombies and was slain by a spider. Then slain 6 more times, making hour 13 the worst hour yet. Now, I want all of you to listen very closely because the next 5 hours proceeded to be a nightmare. But starting off with a positive note, starting hour 14, I required 4, and I was taken aback by this, but I got 4 pieces of iron. From then on, things turned dark. First, the mob farm blew up several times and I died a dozen times trying to fix it. Secondly, I killed Bob. I was trying to kill a zombie behind him, but he took the hit for his friend, and I'm truly devastated that I lost my only zombie villager I had taken. Third, I fixed the mob farm, but messed it up and had to go back up there and fix it again, and I died several more times. But I ended hour 18 playing with my Minecraft friend at Taco7410, who is building some secret tunnels, and she won't tell me what it is. Hour 19, I spent most of my time on the mob farm when my other friend Isabella joined, and I quickly hid my iron because she would have taken it and jokingly ran away, resulting in her getting blown up by a creeper, and I was not going to let that happen. Then at hour 20, I checked on the pig farm, and all of them were gone with a suspicious dirt tunnel taken down. Then I walked out of the mob farm and found a zombie who fell from the sky, which then I looked up, and to my horror, my friend Isabella had gone up to the mob farm and a creeper noticed her, inevitably blowing it up. And thank goodness I had an easy time fixing the problem, and I officially started hour 21, my 21st birthday. And I found an extremely effective way at killing mobs outside the mob farm without dying. And it's creeper friendly too. Nightshade gave me the idea to use trapdoors and open them, which makes a mob spot me. And they come running at you, but they can't attack you as soon as they are right there, but you can attack them. Skipping ahead 2 hours, Taco and Infinity helped me capture 6 zombie villagers. With the 6 zombie villagers secured, I became hopeful in achieving my goals of obtaining a water bucket. But sadly, after some quick farming, all 6 zombie villagers disappeared, and with all 6 of the bobs gone, I realized a huge piece of information I should have taken into account. I realized all the zombie villagers were crammed together, and if I did manage to heal one, the other zombie villagers would re-zombify that villager. So with that thought, I decided I was only going to trap 3 zombie villagers and keep them separated using fenced gates. I don't know if this will work, I sure hope it does when I do it later. I then spent the next 5 hours grinding at the mob farm, and towards the end of hour 28, this happened. He dropped the third iron I need! Let's go! Finally, after 28 whole hours of grueling boredom, I finally had the one small resource that will eventually lead me towards more resources. Water. So with 3 glass bottles, that took a lot of wishes to get, and a water bucket, I now had an infinite source of water, which now means I can go fishing. With one goal accomplished, my next task is to attain 3 copper. So with hour 29, I realized there's a new hole in the mob farm, so I quickly patched it up and spent the rest of my time fishing. With hours 30 through 33, I created a bunch of pools of water. Eventually, my friends logged on and fixed my fishing hole, where they added a nice finishing touch, adding underwater grass. Then sped ran into hour 34, where I acquired 3 pieces of copper and was elated to finally get a lightning rod. I quickly ran over to the pig pen, and then I accidentally placed the lightning rod on top of the pig pen. I turned around, quietly screaming no, as I knew there was absolutely no way I'd be able to break that without a stone pickaxe. So I crawled into hour 35, dejected I had wasted my 3 pieces of copper. But my spirits were quickly lifted when I managed to draw enough zombies into the fishing hole to get 3 more pieces of copper. This time, I made sure I was inside the pig pen before I placed the lightning rod. Now, we wait for rain. The next 5 hours, my patience began to grow thin, so to entertain myself, I spent the majority of my time fishing, destroying hostile mobs, sneaking to my friend's dork house and leaving him a lovely note. Then I decided it was time I created a gigantic ocean that would eventually have a base in the sky where I could jump into that said ocean. After digging dirt for the ocean, I watched my friend get brutally murdered by pillagers, and after all that boredom, I heard the most beautiful music to my ears. Lightning! I immediately rushed over to the pig pen, and sadly, no pigs turned into piglins. I ended hour 40 on a sour note, having no gold, and built a second copper rod and crammed more pigs into the pen. At the start of hour 41, I spent the majority of my time building a sky base, and eventually my efforts were rewarded with not 1, but 2 thunderstorms, creating the most beautiful creatures I've ever seen. Piglins! The first batch of piglins happened at the end of hour 41, which resulted in 4 pieces of gold. And then when the second batch of piglins hatched, creeper exploded the pen. This quickly escalated to me panicking in sheer fear as they all poured out of the pen. Swiftly, I stopped the majority of them from escaping, but destroying the others proved to be a huge challenge. I died dozens of times due to my lack of gold, so in my most desperate moment, I forced myself to craft golden boots, inevitably wasting 4 gold pieces. After all the piglins were taken care of, I now had a dozen of golden swords. which I sadly couldn't smelt down, and now I only had 3 pieces of gold, which now marks my bittersweet entry into hour 43. Now with only 3 pieces of gold, I only need 5 more to craft a golden apple, which will eventually lead to curing a zombified villager. Hours 44 and 45 passed by smoothly as I continued working on my ocean/sky island base project. Hours 46, 47, and 48 were extremely uneventful. Mind that lightning strike right there. And basically because I ended up having to rebuild my whole entire farm because my friend Isabella stole all of my potatoes and carrots, which I still have not found, and I just had to rebuild the whole entire farm. From there, I kept breeding the pigs, and now I only need 3 more pieces of gold. It is now hour 49, and I'm starting to become really antsy, waiting for another thunderstorm. But I'm going to remain optimistic despite knowing my chances of getting enough piglins to get my last piece of gold. For the rest of the hour, I bred more pigs and increased my potato farm, and sadly went sobbing into hour 50 with only 1 piece of gold missing. For the next 2 hours, I continued working on my sky build, raided my friend's potato stash that she stole, and ended hour 51 gazing into the sunset, dreaming about the 1 piece of gold I needed. I then spent the next 3 days building a safe house for the zombified villagers in which I also created a new base, and I absolutely love how this part turned out. The painting, the bookshelves, and the bed fit perfectly in this corner. Moving on, I also have this huge spot for all the chests, which I finally labeled and organized, so I'm able to sift through everything I need. I then spent the rest of the time fishing in the rain for the next 5 days with no thunderstorms. Then I went back to mining trees, fell down, and instantly got swarmed by zombies. Then I ran to the mob spawner, hit an enderman, and panicked, hoping he wouldn't try to get me from my water hole. And as you can see, it's not very happy, and I'm terrified at the moment. I then turned around and had a glaring contest with a pillager outside my house. At the start of hour 55, I dug a giant hole to expand the ocean, and as soon as I was almost done digging, I heard lightning. I rushed over to the pig pen, and I finally got my last piece of gold. Now it's time to start for step 3 of my survival rules, curing a zombie villager. For the next 2 hours, I died repeatedly trying to catch a witch and a zombie villager, and I sadly realized this is going to take longer than it should. So while I waited for nighttime, I decided to destroy the whole entire mob spawner, and I left a small note to build a water mob spawner later on. At the start of hour 58, I theorized on how I could capture a witch and a zombie. The number 1 idea that came to mind was using boats in the shade, which successfully worked after several failed attempts. And now, with 1 villager secured in place, it was time to capture a witch. Several nights passed with no success, so I spoke with Bob34 on how we could capture a witch faster to cure him. They both came to the conclusion of making a bigger forest, so I quickly planted my trees, and finally, I lured a witch into the house. With both the witch and the zombie secured, I zoomed to hour 60 where the zombie killed the witch, which now means I'm back at square one now. At the start of hour 61, I made the world's toughest decision of ending this challenge. And before you all swipe away, I would love it if you all could listen to as why I'm quitting. First things first, I want to thank you all for clicking on this video and watching all the way through. And because of you all, I've been fervently working on this project in hopes of finishing it fast. Second, I've been desperately trying to save for a new laptop as my old one kind of decided not to work properly. I've been trying to save up one for like 4 months, and to my surprise, one day, my parents got me a gaming laptop. I had an extreme, you don't know the pure shock I was in when I got it in the mail. And my mom handed it. She's like, "Oh, hey, random girl, can you come and open up this package for me? Because I need help opening." I'm like, "Okay." It was like this little square box, and I'm like opening it, and then I open it, and I see the laptop, and I'm like, mouth wide open in pure shock. Like, I was not expecting to get a whole gaming laptop from my parents, and I'm extremely grateful they got it. Big shout out to my parents. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the new laptop. Second, I'm able to now run Minecraft smoothly on my PC, and I'm also playing other games like Terraria and Sonic Adventure 2. And I'm also going to be playing other games I find along the way. I want to go over all of the stuff I have accomplished in the 61 hours I have done. I acquired the cauldron and bucket, giving me access to water, which then gave me access to copper, leading to piglins, and then a golden apple. And let's take one last look around my base. Here's my lovely house. The villager curing house, and since I'm quitting, I'm releasing Bob 34 out in the wilds. And we're going to end this segment on my Sky Island. I want to thank you all one last time. Please hit that bell and I will see you all in my next video. Random Girl out.